Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of my Safer Sex series. Today we are going to be talking about polyamory and monogamy and how to make sure we're having safer sex in those types of relationships. So some of you may have heard of the term polyamory before or monogamy before. Some of you may never have heard these terms. Some of you maybe you heard them and you kind of think you know what they mean, but you're not 100% sure. So let's start off with just some basic definitions of what monogamy and polyamory are. Monogamy, mono means one. So monogamy is just one person having sex with one person. So like a typical relationship kind of thing. Poly, on the other hand, means multiple. So poly is like having sex with multiple people. Now there's a lot of different ways we can have polyamorous relationships. They could be like a throuple, or like 4 or 5 people, all dating each other, all kind of having this like connection with each other. It could be an open relationship where you and your sexual partner, you're dating, but you have like an agreement where you all can go and have sex with other people if you want to. Totally your choice. Then there's also like polyamory where your partner doesn't know about it. So maybe you're dating someone, you're having sex with them, and they think that you're being faithful and you're like just the two of y'all, but you're actually out there having sex with multiple people. Like some people might call this cheating, right? So many different ways we can do a polyamory relationship, and polyamory is totally fine. And there's a lot of things we can do to make sure that we're having safe polyamorous relationships. And so we're going to talk about that. But first, let's start with monogamy. Monogamy is, when we talk about safer sex, when I do safer sex presentations, I always talk about how monogamy is a really, really great thing to be doing to make sure that we're having safer sex. And the thing about monogamy is if you are only having sex with one person and they're only having sex with you, then you can't really bring any STIs into the relationship. So it makes it really, really safe. But we do have to do some things to make sure that we are, don't bring any STIs into the sexual relationship, and we're keeping STIs out of the relationship. And so the first and most important thing to do is if you've already started having sex, make sure you're wearing condoms in your monogamous relationship. If you haven't started having sex yet, just wait for a minute. Go get tested. If you're in a monogamous relationship, you really want to get tested. You and your partner want to go and get tested to make sure that you're both negative for any STIs. That way you're not bringing anything into the relationship. I know people who, they've started dating someone and a few months later they found out that they have an STI, gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, or something like that. And they didn't know they had it when they started this relationship because a lot of times we don't have symptoms of STIs. And so they brought it into the relationship and it kind of, it causes a lot of stress in relationships. You might think your partner's cheating on you. You might be like, oh, how didn't you know you had gonorrhea? Things like that. So make sure you're getting tested really, really quick, soon on. Once you guys decide like, yeah, we're going to be monogamous, we're going to date, go get tested. Planned Parenthood, great place to get tested. Super, super easy. Really, it doesn't take very long. We're really great staff. We have locations all over the place. We accept almost like most major insurances. We accept Medicaid. We also have like the family planning benefit program that people can get on to get tested. So there's a lot of different ways that we can like cover testing costs. And so make sure you're going to get tested. I also really encourage you, if you are dating someone, go get tested with them. It can be like a really nice experience. It's like, I often say like, go on a date to Planned Parenthood to get tested. It can like, one, it might be boring, right? You're sitting in a clinic for a little while. So maybe you want someone there to talk to you. Also the clinic kind of gives you this space where you can talk to each other about things that you may not feel comfortable talking about, like out to dinner or at a movie or something like that, right? If you're sitting in a clinic, you're like in this like clinical setting, it gives you this safe space to talk about sex and sexuality, your history of sex, what you hope your sexual future looks like. It's a really great place to talk. Also, then you'll get your results at the same time. If you get the HIV rapid test, right, you'll both get your results in about 10 minutes after taking the test. For any of the other ones, gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, things like that, you'll get your results in about 2 days, 2 or 3 days. So you and your partner will get your results at the same time. You will both know at the same time your statuses. And so that's really, really important to make sure that our monogamous relationships are safe. Also, like, again, I say make it a date night. If you go to our West Seneca clinic, there is a Chinese buffet place right next door. There's a bowling alley right next door. Y'all can like come get tested and then go relax on a date. Same thing with our other locations, right? If you're in Buffalo, our location on Main Street, there's tons of stuff to do around it. If you're in North Tonawanda, our location in North Tonawanda on the canal, tons of stuff to do on the canal. Go to Crazy Jake's, have some burgers afterwards. Just like make it a date night so it doesn't seem weird. It's just like, something we're doing. And then make sure that we're, actually being monogamous. Because if we're stepping out on our partners and our partners are agreeing to have sex with us because they think it's just the two of us, and then you're cheating on them, that's like, you're taking away their ability to consent because they're consenting to this certain type of relationship and you're lying to them and coercing them about it. And so you're actually taking away their ability to consent. And we don't want, to coerce anybody into sex or take away someone's ability to consent. So if we are practicing monogamy, we have to really make sure that we are being, true to it and not cheating on our sexual partners. Now, polyamory, also a totally fine thing to do. If you want to be polyamorous, live your poly life. I'm not here to judge anybody. Like, your sexual relationships are your sexual relationships. But in polyamory, you're exposing yourself to more people and maybe more sexual fluids and things like that. So if you are in a polyamorous relationship, we have to take more precautions. It's just how it is. Now, if you're in like a throuple or a foursome or something like that, and you guys aren't really like having sex outside of that group, it can be just as safe as monogamy. But again, we have to make sure that we all get tested. And so say you start off as like a couple and then you decide that a third person, have that third person go get tested. Maybe all three of you guys go get tested again just to double check. And then anytime you add someone new to that kind of relationship, make sure they get tested or make sure you all go get tested just to make sure you guys are all negative before any new people are added. If you're in like a polyamorous relationship where you have like a partner that like is your solid partner, but you guys have like this open kind of relationship where you can go have sex with other people, you definitely want to make sure we're taking like regular safer sex precautions, right? Getting tested regularly, wearing condoms, and talking to all the sexual partners you have about their practices. Are they wearing condoms with everybody they're having sex with? Are they getting tested, every 3 to 4 months, depending on how many sexual partners they have? And if you do that, right, you can keep that kind of open polyamorous relationship pretty safe, as long as you're taking these steps of getting tested and wearing condoms and having that conversation with each other about safer sex and their practices. If you are polyamorous and not telling your partner you're polyamorous, you're like cheating on your partner, that can be pretty dangerous, right? Because you're not having that conversation with your partner and letting them know that they may be putting themselves at risk that they don't understand. So I don't recommend that kind of polyamory. If you want to be polyamorous with your sexual partners, have that conversation. Talk to them about your needs, your sexual desires, and work it out together, because that makes it much safer. Having that conversation, that communication between you and your partner, it will make your polyamorous relationship much, much safer. And that's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to make sure that we are as safe as possible when we're exploring our sexual bodies and our sexual desires. We want to have safe, pleasurable sexual experiences, and communication, talking to each other about them, is an important step that we sometimes forget. All right, y'all. So we're gonna end it there. I will be back tomorrow, and tomorrow I think we're gonna talk about condoms finally. So check it out tomorrow. Adios.